Day 8 is now in the books, and boy, has it changed up the dynamic of the B block. Now that we look at the fact that we do not have overall perfect block leaders, and anybody right now has a chance to be the one in this block. Hello, everybody. Good evening, good morning, good night, konnichiwa to you all. My name is Noah Foster, and I'm just a simple man, and welcome once again to another continued coverage in the G1Climax30 I call the Simple Take Preview Review. Not in that order. In this video, we will be discussing, of course, the action that took place during Night 8 of G1 Climax action for B Block, as well as previewing the upcoming Day 9 of action for A Block that will be Sunday morning. This is being recorded Friday afternoon, 2:07 p.m. Eastern Standard Time because of my work schedule. So with that being said, all right, let's go ahead and get started. Our first match, of course, was the unofficial Young Lions G1 run. As Gabriel Kidd, Uemura Yosuji, they do get out to see who get the most singles victories during this run. And today, it was Yosuji versus Gabriel Kidd. Yosuji coming in the stronger competitor, leading the pack with 3 points. Kidd, however, got 2 points, and he was looking to do the same thing he did to Suji to get his first win. It did not happen here. Both these men, they literally went at each other, and I thought for sure Gabriel Kidd was going to tap out again to Yosuji in the Boston Crab, but he did not. And to keep it simple for you, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time this G1, not in a G1 match, but in a Young Lions match, which, to be fair, is more common, it was a draw. They went to a full 15-minute draw. So Gabriel Kidd and Yosuji has their first draw during this unofficial G1 run, which I must say is very interesting to me. And I can only imagine what's going through the mind of Uemura, who, of course, will be in action again next. And kudos to both men. They really laid into each other, and there was just simple counter-based mat wrestling that I thought really was testing each man's wills on how far their body can take the pain, especially with that simple side headlock by Kidd early on. And Suji, of course, just unleashing a fury of strikes and that spear. But in the end, neither man could put away the other. Really goes to show how far these two can push each other and how much the Young Lions are trying to prove to the New Japan faithful and the new that probably just saw these two for the first time ever, what they're capable of. Really good opening bout for 15 minutes, I must say. But it does surprise me that it was a draw. Which leads us immediately into G1 Climax action, as we had our first match, which was a match of insanity, and good lord, it was detrimental to my anxiety, as Toru Yano, block leader, took on Juice Robinson. And again, Juice Robinson, he's had Toru Yano's number the last 3 consecutive G1s these two have met, which made me feel more comfortable in this with Juice Robinson against Toru Yano. But still, there were moments here, something as simple as Toru Yano giving Juice a shirt, Juice putting it on, trying to get him for a roll-up that immediately made me wince. And then literally Toru Yano, he of course goes for the turnbuckle, but Juice Robinson was not going to have any of his shit. Juice Robinson was not going to play these games. And then at one point, literally Juice Robinson gets sprayed with the disinfectant spray, and he goes out to the ring, washes it out with his eyes, and then pours the disinfectant spray into Yano's eyes. Yano nearly gets counted out. Yano then heads up the entrance way, and I'm like, don't do that, Juice. Juice follows him, and Juice ends up getting both his legs taped up. Almost count out win here for Yano, good God. But Juice literally hobbles his way back to the ring, and he does finally get a punch into Toru Yano that knocks him stiff and able to untape himself. And then following this, Juice just was done. He had enough of all of this ridiculous nonsense after finally nailing him with the freaking left hand of God. He finally hit the Pulp Friction after the first Pulp Friction was nearly countered into a ridiculous near fall. And Juice Robinson won. Thank God someone stopped this man's run. Juice Robinson beats Toru Yano for the 4th G1 in a row. 1, 2, 3. And now ties Yano and Naito as block leaders with 6 points. Really wild, crazy madness. But overall, I'm just glad Juice Robinson won. There's not much more I can say about that. And again, right now, it seems like the one person that has figured out the Toru Yano formula each time as far as the G1 goes is Juice Robinson. Makes me wonder if Yano's going to challenge Juice maybe for his KLPW 2020 trophy to see, can you beat me for something else outside the G1? Can you beat me in something outside the G1? Because I'm sure Toriano is annoyed by this. But then again, I never know what's going for the mind of Toriano. And maybe I'm better off that way. But kudos to Juice Robinson. Congratulations on the win. Thank you for stopping Yano's run of insanity for now. All right, moving on from there, we go into a rather interesting match as Hiroki Goto took on Zack Sabre Jr. And both men, of course, were sitting at 2 points, so both men really needed a win here. And Zack Sabre Jr., he was quick on the offense, of course, literally pulling the referee aside, unleashing brutal attacks. And I knew Zack Sabre Jr. was gonna go after the injured arm of Hiroki Goto, the injured right shoulder. But I don't know to the extent those injuries for Hiroki Goto, because again, in New Japan Pro Wrestling, showing signs of weakness or pain sets you up personally for defeat. And basically, it was just a really short match because literally out of nowhere, both men basically they picked up a page, but Zack Sabre Jr. kind of with a quick European clutch. Yeah, just a quick European clutch, literally using one of his feet to step on the right under the shoulder. And pin Goto just under 4 minutes. I was really expecting to go this match to go further, but I must say, it does lead me to wonder now, what is the extent of Hiroki Goto's right shoulder's health? Is it, like, detrimental to him going forward? Will he have to, like, forfeit a G1 match? How is this going to come into play? I don't know, but this was really weird. I was expecting a really strong, long, competitive bout. This is one of the top 50 shortest matches in G1 Climax history, according to some statistics I randomly remember reading from Chris Samsa. Please follow him at the Chris Samsa. And apparently, Chris Charlton pointed out that it's the same town he won the New Japan Cup in 2018. Both he and Goto could do with the points tonight. Well, Zack Sabre Jr. Got the points. And Milano also just referred to he out the pad back on upside down. He's so obsessed with Yano. He turned Yoshi Noya into Yano Yoshi. Okay, that's interesting. Is this the earliest we've gone to break this tour? That third match was a real surprise. Yeah, I agree, Chris John. Again, and literally, folks, the time clocked in for this match 3 minutes, 59 seconds. The shortest match so far of this year's G1. So it was really odd. And again, this felt like it was going to be our fastest show to date. So I really knew action had to pick up in the later half after we go over the cleaning, disband, break. And we come back. Action does pick up significantly as we now have a match of history. Oh, by the way, in case you didn't hear me on first time, Zack Sabre Jr. now has 4, Hiroki Goto stays at 2. Now we go into a match where 2 men have 2 points as well, and 1 man needs the win. And I knew this was going to be much more competitive and aggressive, but also a respectable bout that follows what New Japan Pro Wrestling is known for at its heart. As the ace of New Japan, Hiroshi Tanahashi, he took on headhunter Yoshihashi. And these two, they pretty much welled into each other. I was really enjoying this competitive bout. At one point, literally, Tanahashi took control from the mat, again, mat game, and then he was able to basically control Yoshihashi, but then Yoshihashi, knowing the ace so well, he was able to follow up with something out of the ace's playbook, a dragon screw. Ouch. And then following this, the right leg of Tanahashi, it was being worked over, and Yoshihashi, he kept the pressure on. Tanahashi, Hashi, try saying that 5 times fast, back to back to back to back to back, I dare you. Anyway, Tanahashi, of course, he follows up with his own striking forearm shiver, and we're only 5 minutes in. And then following this, hey, turnabout's fair play, that's the aces move. Dragon screw to Yoshihashi. Ouch. And then a succession of chops by both men, followed by a lariat and a super kick. Then a powerbomb, followed for a near 2 count. But Tanahashi, of course, he will not fall to that. He was able to bounce back with a straight jacket German for his own bridging pin. Did not have quite enough on the position, so of course Yoshihashi was able to kick out. Then a sling blade that really put the match in the ace's favor. He felt really good here. But then he goes for his ace in the hole, the high five flow. Gets denied with knees. I don't know whether or not it's worse that he hits on knees or hits on the mat if he does not connect proper with his opponent. Just saying. Anyway, as this match continued, both these men right now, they are testing each other's wills, trading strikes. But Yoshihashi gets the upper hand with a ridiculous lariat and locks Tanahashi for an extended period of time in the butterfly lock. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is it. Yoshihashi could actually get the win here. And he came this close, it seemed, as he was really fighting back the Ace's momentum to try and make it to the ropes. But somehow the Ace made it to the ropes. We get a rope break. But then with a double wrist clutch, I might add, which is really impressive. Again, that stretch though. Following that, though, the Ace was able to try and put some offense into Yoshikashi, going for a Texas Cloverleaf submission, and then hitting a Dragon Screw from the ground, which sounds like it sucks even more. But Yoshihashi, he yelled, dug deep, got his own Dragon Suplex, and pulled off Kumagoroshi for a 2 count, only a 2 count. As Yoshihashi was looking for his finish that won him his previous bout with Sonata, with Karma, Tanahashi was able to counter him with another Sling Blade, finally hits the high fly flow, not once, but twice, perfectly, and the Ace wins this competitive bout 1, 2, 3, and goes to 4 points as both men shake hands. Really good match. I knew what to expect here from the Ace. Again, this is the Ace in New Japan, and these two have had tremendous history, but again, they also have great respect for one another. And I must say, for Yoshihashi, even in defeat, this has really been a very strong year for him. And I look forward to seeing how he does the rest of the G1. Would I count the Ace out? Not necessarily, especially considering who's left on his run. Just saying. Moving on from there, it's an interesting bout when it's all Bullet Club, am I right? As we had Kenta taking on Evil. And initially you could tell both these men's mindsets as far as Bullet Club is out the window, because as Kenta goes for Too Sweet, Evil denies that and Too Sweet's his own parade, Dick Togo. And boy, did Dick Togo come in play here or what. But many times this match, turnabout was fair play, as Evo did have the early control over Kenta, working over, of course, Kenta's bummed left shoulder, including trapping it between steel ring post and a steel chair behind the Rap's back, and basically was working on armbar submission hold. Kenta, though, he was able to bounce back, take control on the floor, and then we get a hard strikes. But again, Dick Togo, he comes into play. He gives Evo that momentary moment he needs to put the match into his favor. And basically, these two are just trading bombs with each other outside and inside of the ring. Following this, there was high boots to a power slam that did allow Kenta a little bit of time. And then things really picked up when Red Shoes was knocked down. Ah, jeez. And I figured this was going to come into play somehow. Kenta uses that bright red briefcase to not only knock out Geek Togo, but knock out Evil for a near fall. Not quite enough. And then Evil, he gets a tornado gun stun and a flying lariat for a 2 count, and we're only about 10 minutes in. But of course, Evil, he tries to use Dick Togo again. We try and get that choker device in play here. It doesn't work, but as we go down towards the end of the match, the ref is down again, and basically what happens here, well, he's not down, but he's literally tugging the ref as Dick Togo was about to be put to sleep because Kenta had enough of Dick Togo's bullcrap. Basically, he tries to go to sleep on Dick Togo. Dick Togo grabs the ref, and Evo with the dreaded low blow to Kenta. He follows up with everything is evil on Kenta, and Evo wins 1, 2, 3. Dang it. Well, here's the way I see it. I kind of saw Evil was going to win this here. First off, Kenta beat him last year in the G1, despite their different circumstances for both men back then, and mindsets. Both these men are in Bullet Club, but you really wonder where Bullet Club stands as a whole. Jay White's still the leader. Is Kenta still that promising talent that GOD brought in? He has the briefcase, but again, he dropped a loss to a former IWGP United States champion, Juice Robinson, who could challenge for it. And of course, Evil, who had the highs of highs moment in the summer, and then the ultimate bombing at Jingu Stadium. And I'm sure he wants to get back at Naito for that. And of course, Naito is still in Evil's run. And Evil, of course, with the rocky start that I'm sure everybody was happy about and everybody hopes continues to happen. So here's the thing. Shout out to Jeff Meacham, follow the Jeff Meacham Network. I don't know where we go from here with both these men, as Kenta stays at 4 points, but Evil now bumps up to 4 points. But something tells me, and this seems like an occurring theme in any era of Bullet Club, there's some sort of like betrayal angle, there's some sort of like person thrown out of it. I don't think it comes down to Evil and Kenta at this point, but they're definitely two people I would focus on towards the angle. Just saying. But overall, this was an interesting match. Again, it was heel on heel action. What more can I say? And I'm curious what happens next and what Kenta's arm, how will hold up for the rest of the G1, and how much more will Dick Togo come into play to literally lead Evil to victory. Last time bit him in the butt. This time it actually worked. We'll see if it works again. Which leads us into our main event. The number one match I was looking forward to on this show, and the pinnacle moment for my block pick to win. As Cold Skull Sonata took on leader Los Ganabes de Japón and block leader and double champion Tetsuya Naito. But as Milana sadly put it before the clean and disfectant break, last year Sonata beat the IWGP Heavyweight Champion and stopped his momentum altogether, and it led to, well, the match of the year for him. So with that being said, we go into Naito versus Sonata, and this is everything I would expect at first. Both these two men, they start feeling out each other. Sonata, the early going over the top rope plunge, literally getting the crowd behind him, asking for that crowd noise, and literally the match is going to Sonata's favor in the early going. Tensions were high among the two throughout this match, and to really circle back with Naito getting a bit of control, grappling into the ropes, and basically Naito threw the first strikes in and out of the ring, sends Nada into the guardrail. And again, this was like a feeling out for the early going. This was a much more a methodical, slow storytelling match. Got technical at times too. In the ring, we had, of course, Naito with his signature offense, the leg Nelson corner combination. And of course, we get Tranquilo. But then Sonata, he's able to come back with his dynamic athleticism with a leapfrog drop kick and plancha, as I stated. But again, after missing a butt flip skull end attempt, going for the skull end early in this match, under the 10-minute mark, a magic screw brought the match into Naito's corner. Bases loaded, as in the home team, the white team now needs to bounce back, no timeouts left. As Naito continues his forward momentum with swinging DDT and focuses on the neck of Sonata with a top rope Frankensteiner attempt, Sonata does get out of it, thankfully, landing a drop kick upward, sending Naito face first into the ring post. Ouch. Which brings Naito crashing down to the mat and Sonata falling up with a Tiger Suplex for a 2 count. Moving on from there, though, again, great back and forth. Both these men fire off each other. Naito was able to pull off a spine buster, and it slows down the match for a moment. Then we get back elbow shivers from both men in order to see who can get control. But another Frankensteiner attempt this time gave Naito thorough control at the point of this match. Sonata, he tries to bounce back with Skull End, can't do it. But Esperanza and half Destino, it does score a little bit, but it does not give the win. As Sonata, he's able to bounce back into a full TKO off the ropes. That was very impressive, by the way. And both men were down. We're 20 minutes in. It's amazing how long Naito's matches are. He's definitely been the star performer, I would say, match length-wise, for the G1. As both men continue to trade forearms, Sonata finally, he really moves forward with a backflip out of the corner, finally sees Skull End, traps Naito into it emphatically for a good 3 minutes, I would think, at the point of this match. Naito able, though, he was able to get out of the clutch. Sonata was able to trap him again, this time releasing a little bit of pressure under his own fruition to, of course, go for the Muda Moonsault. But Naito, of course, he escapes it. And once again, Sonata crashes and burns off it. Dadgummit! At the 25-minute mark. We're literally 5 minutes in. Then Naito lands a Destino for a 2 count. Okay. And literally, he tries to go for a emphatic Destino, because it was more like a snap Destino out of nowhere. It didn't get like the full blunt of it. But as he tries to go for the Destino, Sonata counters leading Naito and hits Valencia, Naito tries to do, but then a knee buckles the double champion. And finally, Sonata, he was able to counter his own type of maneuver of Naito's with his own sort of modified Destino and 2 moonsaults, one to the back and one once again to the spine. And finally, and history repeats itself as far as circumstances go. Sonata's on the board, but Sonata beats the IWGP Heavyweight Champion and Intercontinental Champion this time. And Sonata wins his first 2 points in another match that was very close to peaking the point of a draw. Really good match. It was a must-win scenario for Sonata. If he did not win this here, he might as well call his G1 over and go off into excursion. But Sonata, he finally gets on the board with 2 points. While Tetsuya Naito, he stays at 6 and is still a block leader. And it was, again, a really good match. Of According to Chris Charlton, the first time Naito and Sonata met was actually in the 2005 public tryout, and Naito was the only one accepted afterwards, while Sonata went to All Japan Pro Wrestling. A little bit of history for you. I always enjoy following at Reason JP on Twitter and his live coverage during the G1. Anyway, this was a really interesting match, and of course the lights were brought down because Nagata is cool, and Sonata simply says, "See you next time." But I think more so, Sonata was making the point that basically nobody goes through this thing undefeated. Don't count me out. I'm gonna fight my hardest. I'm gonna fight for you. So I must say, it was a really good match. And again, I'm really glad Sonata won this, but now I wonder what the mindset of Nacho is because he wanted this match. Really, he wanted to face Sonata. Is he happy about this? Is he tranquilo? And honestly, are we saying for another KOPW type of rematch between Sonata and Naito, but this time for the double gold, and maybe not King Pro Wrestling, but during the tour? Because again, I don't know if the King Pro Wrestling pay-per-view special for New Japan Pro Wrestling is going to happen this year, because that's obviously always been an October staple. But October, of course, is going to be covered 2/3 of it otherwise by the G1. Regardless, it was a really good day of action for Night 8, and it really balanced the block, which has been the formula lately for the blocks these past couple of days. As the scores for B Block now stands, Tanahashi at 4, Robinson at 6, block leader. Goto at 2, Toru Yano at 6, still block leader, but hopefully he stops there. Yoshihashi still at 2, Tetsuya Naito still very much in control, in good faith of his own destino, sitting at 6 points. Sonata at 2, Zack Sabre Jr. at 4, Kenta at 4, and Evil at 4. So honestly, because Sonata literally just got his first victory here, I would say everybody's still alive in this block. I wouldn't count anyone out, but if I can put a jinx on somebody to count out, hopefully, it would definitely be Toru Yano, because I don't want to see Toru Yano in the freaking finale. That's all I got to say about that. Okay, so with that being said, that was the action that emanated from Nagoya. So let's go ahead and go into Night 9 action that will occur, of course, Sunday morning. It was nice to know that literally today and tomorrow I was able to sleep in a bit, even with my altered work hours, get a bit of a reprieve because, there's been 4 days of G1 Climax action this week, 3 days consecutively. It's really exhausting when you watch it live. But now I get to rest, and I look forward to Sunday, October 5th, where A Blocker is in action again. The time it will be is 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 3 a.m. Pacific Time, and 11 a.m. British Standard Time. So set your alarms accordingly, folks, if you want to continue this live, like me. Let's go ahead and look at the matches to come. First off, we have, of course, the unofficial Young Lions G1 run, as Uya Uemura now takes on Gabriel Kidd. And again, Gabriel Kidd, 2 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw. Uya Uemura, 2 wins, 3 losses. So here's the way I see it. Are we going to be in for another draw? Is Gabriel Kidd going to give Uya Uemura another defeat? 2 back-to-back defeats for Uya Uemura as Gabriel Kidd faces him? Or will Uya Uemura bounce back himself? Well, their singles record is 3-1 in Uemura's favor, but it's been 1 loss and 1 win as far as this tour goes for Uya Uemura. But I feel like if we want to have a balanced competition here, there's 1 or 2 results happening. I see either a draw or I see Uya Uemura getting the win here. I'm going to go with Uya Uemura because for a while, he was the one I thought that was really pushing the most among the 3. Heck, he had a freaking knee pad showing his progress, but it seems like that's been gone. So clearly, he has a lot to prove and needs to bounce back. So I'm going to go with Uya Uemura. Following that, we have Shingo Takagi, who sits at 2 points, facing Yujiro Takahashi, first time ever singles meeting, who is still goose egg, and might I add, is I believe, yep, he is the only one goose egg right now still in this block. Look, Yujiro, he's got pizza, so he's fine. He wanted to be in this G1 for a couple of reasons. To prove something to others, but also get the best of Okada. He failed to do one of those things, but kudos to him for really pushing on through this G1. I mean, Ren Narita, he was in the friggin' Best Super Juniors. People were rooting on him for a win, and despite him being a young lion, he came this close to winning. But the thing is, can Yujiro, all tricks aside, finally pull it together against somebody like Shingo Takagi? I'm just going to keep it simple for you folks and saying, yeah, no. That's all I have to say about that. I think Shingo Takagi is going to get a win here, but I'm sure that freaking Yujiro is going to have all sorts of tricks up his sleeve. Following that, we got another singles meeting here as Jeff Cobb takes on the Switchblade Jay White. As Jay White stands at 6 points, Jeff Cobb stands at 2 points. The only other one-on-one encounter these two had was the previous G1 last year, where Jay White got the best of Jeff Cobb. As J1 is still very dominant here as a block leader, but Jeff Cobb coming off a big-time loss to Minoru Suzuki. However, he did get a win against Shingo Takagi. This could be a very interesting match. I'm sure that thinking about the whole Bullet Club idea about some sort of betrayal or whatever, I don't see Gato getting behind any other person, so I don't see Gato betraying Jay White. So I'm going to say, though, if Gato plays in this too much, Jeff Cobb might win this. But my pick is Jay White's going to win this and continue his run in his J1. The loss briefing was a bump. He's going to recover following this. Now we get into some really good stuff here, and the king is somebody that will not play with this man. Rainmaker Kazuchika Okada takes on the king, Kasa Ninare, Minoru Suzuki. These two, however, because Okada, he is at 4 points, Suzuki is at 6. They have met each other in, I believe, 8 previous bouts. I look at the things here. Okay, yeah. 5 wins for Okada, 1 loss, 2 draws. In G1 history, though, where this really matters, it is 2-0-1 in Okada. There has yet to be a 30-minute draw in G1Climax30. The last time these two meet was last year at Royal Quest for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship in one of my favorite matches of 2019. And Minoru Suzuki took Okada to the limit. Not to mention, earlier, he literally took Okada to the limit in rain. Okay? This is the king here. Okada, he's had a rocky run, but that money clip does seem to be giving him the win. He did get a win over TAICHI, who did not tap out. Can he repeat the same thing against the king? Or will the king stick it to TAICHI and show him that you can't beat Okada, but I can? It seems obvious to pick Okada because he's always a clear-cut favorite. But the king vows to win the G1, and Okada has yet to use the Rainmaker, though we saw some subtle teases of it last time. If Minoru Suzuki can push Okada to use the Rainmaker, I think Okada will win this match. I just don't see Okada causing the king to go to sleep or tap out. Minoru Suzuki's a man that I don't think about literally freaking tapping out or going to sleep to anybody. In the previous bout in 2017, after 40 minutes, Okada's arm was literally hanging off his body, literally. So, the king, Okada, this is a turning point. This could really stick it to TAICHI. Who do I go with? This you could toss a coin to, but I am going to say that this match will end in a draw. I'm actually going for a 30-minute time limit in this match with Okada and Minoru Suzuki. Yeah, call it extremely bold. I just don't know. I don't see Okada winning this match with the money clip against the king. And I feel like if Minoru Suzuki beats Okada, that pretty much is going to tell Okada, you're done at this point. Because then he'll be in a 2-3 deficit. And then again, I figure about if Okada beats Minoru, maybe he'll challenge the heavyweight title, even though he only has the heavyweight title aspirations. But he did challenge for the tag, so it seems like he's flexing a little bit. And I wouldn't mind seeing these two go at it in a title bout. So looking at all the setup there, figure about the Suzuki-Gun Civil War that seems to be going on. I'm actually going with a draw here between Okada and Minoru Suzuki. And I can't wait for this match. Speaking of matches in history, looking at the other half of Suzuki-Gun, let's go ahead and talk about it. As once again, the Holy Emperor, TAICHI, he renews hostilities with an old rival, the Stone Pit Bull, Tomohiro Ishii. Tomohiro Ishii stands at 2 points after winning Incredible War with Shingo Takagi on the previous night of A-block action, while TAICHI is a block leader with 6 points. Overall, Ishii has had TAICHI's number in 4-1, but in their only previous G1 encounter, TAICHI was the victor. And it just so happens that that was, I believe, 2019, if I remember correctly. Of course, these two, we know they've duked it out over each other. They pushed each other to the limits in both the New Japan Cup at times, not to mention never openweight title matches. And Tomohiro Ishii truly believes Taiji doesn't need all this stuff. Just wrestle me, just fight me, just show me how good you really are. But looking at this, Taiji is on an extremely good run right now, and he is my A block pick. But it's time for Tomohiro Ishii, I feel like, to pick up the wins. With that being said, they've only had one previous encounter in the G1. This G1 has been much more in favor of Taiji, but he did just lose to Okada. I feel like Taiji might be hitting a bit of a roadblock here with the Chaos people. So, as much as I want to go with Taiji in this match, I feel like, but then again, Tomohiro Ishii, he's not getting that about points. It's just about violence, about proving who's the best wrestler. I don't want Taiji to fall back here too much. And at this point, Ishii, it doesn't seem like he wants to win the G1. He just wants to really prove the best in himself and everybody else. So with that being said, I am actually going to go with the Holy Emperor, Taiji, to pick up the win here and stick it to the king. Because again, I feel like it's going to come down really to who does better between these two. And that might even come down to a tiebreaker too towards the end. But we'll have to wait and see. But my pick here is Taiji. Which leads us to our main event as Will Ospreay takes on Kota Ibushi, both men tied at 6 points. Overall, they are 1-1 after Kota Ibushi lost to Will Ospreay at Wrestle Kingdom last year, the Never Openweight title. But then Ibushi, he picked up the win, of course, in the G1 against this very individual last year. And that match nearly went the limit. Knowing how fast, how agile, how striking these two are. They are two wrestlers above many, many others. Honestly, this could be the longest match in A block so far. But looking at the scores right now, it's dead even. But I think about who wants to surpass mere mortals and become God with capital G, and then I think about maybe the first time a British person wins the G1, and Will Ospreay basically completes his entire Douchebag Pro Wrestling resume, basically winning everything at this point, tournament-wise. But with that being said, I'm just going to say that, oh man, this is tough. I'm going to say that Kota Ibushi picks up the win here, 1, 2, 3, because if Will Ospreay wants to surpass Okada, he has to first surpass Kota Ibushi. But if Ibushi beats him, that might really mess with Will Ospreay's head into the match all the way at the end of the G1 his final Block Day action against Okada, where he like put himself harder than before for the win. Sometimes a loss can really bring out the better of a person following their previous encounter going forward in the G1, folks. JY, just saying from last year. With that being said, both these men have a strong one. Both these men are not going to be hurt by this loss as far as their G1 run goes, but momentum, it might sting a little bit mentally. But I'm actually going to start Kota Ibushi, ends the night for us, for the win in Takamasu. Excuse me. With that being said, that's what I have to say for now. We got another great day of A-Block action ahead of us. It's Friday right now. Saturday we rest. Sunday it all picks up again as we now enter October for the rest of the G1 as we continue to see and who will be the one. Again, folks, we have the 1st, the 5th. We just got through the 1st, apologies. We got the 5th, the 6th, 7th, and 8th, so get ready for another 3 days of straight block action next week. Then the 10th, the 11th, then the 13th and 14th, then 16th, 17th, and the 18th, of course, is our final. We'll have to wait and see how this goes, but I'm still standing by what I believe is going to happen in the end because I'm very optimistic. I hope it comes down to Taiji versus Sonata for the win. And as far as what I pick, well, stay tuned. That's all I have to say for now. Thanks for tuning in. If you want to know more about me, know this. I'm just a simple man and a lifelong fan of ... wrestling. So follow me, Twitter, Instagram, PlayStation, at @mfoster1916. Let's play some video games. Follow this on my YouTube channel here, youtube.com / I think it's C now, / NoFoss210, or is it still user? There's something about YouTube that's been updating lately, but you know the channel by now, I feel like. And of course, I'll share it on my social media platforms. Just follow me on Twitter. As always, you want to know more what I'm about, it's all in the description down below. Support WrestleJoy, NoDQ, Pro Wrestling Discussions, Team All Elite, Sports Pro Wrestling, support Pro Wrestling folks, that's the heart of it. And also, just constant wrestling coverage on this channel. Shout out to my HW family on Twitter for all things wrestling. As always, I'd like to close. Support wrestling outlets big and small. Let's keep growing this incredible, diverse, unique, elite, authentic, unscripted, unrestricted wrestling community together. Simple as that. With that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, tell a friend. Hit the bell, know next video on this channel. Hit the subscribe button, help me keep growing this channel. Shout out to all 163 of you that's been with me on this fun YouTuber creator's journey. It's not laying up anytime soon. I might start even bringing in more gameplay footage from my sibling gaming channel as a subdivision part of this channel too. I'm starting up the podcast again with my boys from Ohio called The Sauce. There'll be predictions, of course, on the next NXT scene for NXT TakeOver 31. A simple chat should be up later today if I get this up in time. Otherwise, it'll be probably following the simple chat in 7, as I do weekly live, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday nights. And I continue to bring you coverage of course, G1Climax30, where we continue to see who will be the one. And just so you all are aware, yes, I do watch NJPW Strong, but it's hard to cover everything. But I am aware of who still is in this tournament. It surprised me the upset that the DKC lost to Logan Regal. I'm not surprised Clark Connors won against Jordan Clearwater. He's a clear favorite. Danny Limelight brings a lot of Rocky Romero type machismo and aesthetics to his matches. And I'm very happy that Blake Christian, who was my overall pick to win the whole thing, really had a great competitive bout against Adrian Quest, pull it off in the end. Now we got Danny Limelight versus Blake Christian, Logan Rio versus Clark Connors. I'm just going to say it like this. I think it's going to come down to Clark Connors versus Blake Christian. That's all I have to say about that. So until next time, take care, enjoy life. Tomorrow's never guaranteed. Treasure your families. Enjoy wrestling. There's more of it now than ever. Find some promotion, company, something that connects to you. Make a friend out of it too, like WrestleJoy has Brisley created. And stay tuned also for a special 1-year anniversary recap, AEW Spark, this weekend. So until next time, I just hope you all stay safe, wear a mask, be conscious about those around you. We'll get through this together. Be smart. And as always, I just wish you all have a wonderful day. Sayonara.